So I've had a quick look through some of the comments and stuff that have been left on some of the previous videos that I've made recently. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm just going to answer any of them questions that have been asked. Even if they've been answered already, I'll answer them again. I'll try to explain it to you, obviously showing anything that I can show, through here. So I will make every now and again, I will make a type of video like this where I just answer questions that have been left in the comments. I am planning on making quite a few synthwave tutorials. Synthwave, I think, is a genre that's still underrated, and which is a good thing. At the moment, it's still below the radar. It's not hit mainstream yet. As you probably know, once most genres hit mainstream, it's just everywhere. Everybody makes it. It's just absolutely everywhere. So at the moment, it's still slightly below the radar, which again is a good thing. But because it's below the radar, there's not a lot of tutorials out there. I do make quite a few other genres of music as well, but synthwave is the one that I feel I'm most happy with. I just really enjoy making this type of music, so I will make sure there's plenty more tutorials coming. Any ideas that you want, anything you want to know about, even if it's not synthwave related, just leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to certainly look at it for future videos. So what I'll do is I'll just fly through some of the things that have been mentioned and asked, and again I'll answer as many as I can. So a couple of things, a couple of people have suggested some VSTs. One guy here, can't pronounce your name, very sorry for that, but you did mention Synth 1, which is something I've looked at ages and ages ago. I actually was looking at that when I discovered Salim 1. I'm going to be doing another 5 more top VSTs. I'm going to be looking at that. I'm also going to design some free patches that I'll give out as well. Well, thanks for that. Another guy, Steve Oath, suggested the Dext, which said he can't tell the difference between that and the real DX7. I'm certainly going to be looking into that in the future, and I may even stick it in one of the top 5 or 5 top VSTs as well. So thanks for that as well. That's one I've not actually heard of. Panhandle Gear Demos also told me to look at Diva. Again, Diva. It's very CPU. I've got that already. I'll certainly look at designing some patches, maybe give a few away for free, later on down the line. One of the things I've noticed about that is it's very CPU heavy. So you can't load quite. You start to load a few instances up, it starts to really make your computer slow down. Panhandle also was asking about the drums and stuff that were in the top 5 or 5 top VST videos. I didn't actually give them out, but what I will do is I will leave a pack in the comments below, in the description below, where you can grab them drums from that FLP that you can use yourself. Julio Duck had a problem with audio when he dragged the audio in. Sometimes FL Studio does that, so I'll show you what he's talking about here. So I just loaded a quick drum sample up here, and when it's loaded it in, it's changed this to auto and it's changed the time. So what this will do is it will stay on the same pitch no matter what you do. So if I do this, it will always stay on the same pitch. So if this does happen, what you need to do is take the time. You can see the time's up slightly. Bring that down and change this to resample, and that will then it will take into account the pitch. So Azzy also asked a bit about how to start mixes, do you build them all together, and just general how to start a track. There isn't really one specific way to start a track. For example, this track, I started with the riff, so I made this riff, and then I built around the riff. So what I was trying to explain is, what you do is how I would normally do it is I would start the track with none of this, so it'd just be an 8-bar loop over here. So I'd start an 8-bar loop, I'd add the lead in, or if I started with, say, a guitar pluck, I'd add the pluck in. or even sometimes I've even started by writing a bass line. So once you get the first element in, you then build around that. So what I would tend to do is if I start with the lead, I would maybe add the drums in. And then I would maybe work on the bass line, add the bass line in. Then I would add additional elements in, so for example the strings, the guitar pluck. So this would be the main part of the track. So that's what you want to do. You want to build your main part of your track, and then you build backwards from there. So what I would then do with that is I would then start with, I'll go back and I'd maybe, you know, bring the elements in slowly, and then once you get, you know, that part started, you can then start to mess around with the other stuff. So then you can layer it with pads, you can add in, you know, extra synths towards the end, you can work on automation and all stuff like that. So you should always start with like an 8-bar loop, build the whole track, you know, when everything's on, when you've got all your elements in, you build it up. And then you work backwards and then build, you know, that's when the structure and stuff comes in. So another guy asked how to install presets on the TAL. So all you need to do with this is go to Show Presets folder. And all you do is just on your desktop, right click on whatever, you know, unzip your bank, right click, copy, and then just paste it in there. And once you paste it in there, it'll start to appear here at the bottom. And then Random Clip asked about Salim. He said he got an error saying can't read new preset. That's because you're working on an older version of Salim. You need to update your Salim. There was quite a while there wasn't many updates, but now there seem to be quite a few. There's been 3 or 4, you know, in the last 6 months alone. So how to update Salim? Just menu, about, it will tell you sort of what version you're using. Menu, and then check for updates. This will automatically then transfer you to the website where you can download the newest version, and then the presets will work for you then. So Andreas Gecko asked as well about automation clips. I'm not sure what you're wanting to see with regards to automation clips, if you're looking to know how to work them. So I will, you know, if you want to leave a comment what exactly is it you want to see, but I will show you a couple of things. So to make an automation clip, first of all, if you're using a standard FL Studio plugin, you can just right click on anything really and create automation. So if we were, for example, if we were to, let's see, we mute that, the bass line. So if we wanted to add, say, an FL Studio filter in, you'd add the filter in, and then you right click on the parameter you want to change, create automation clip. And then what you've got then is when it's up, the filter's open, and when it's down, the filter's closed. You can use this here to change the sharpness of the curve. Now if you, for example, add a third party plugin in, so say for example we add this in, like say for example you want to add a cutoff filter in. So when you right click, nothing happens. So what you need to do is just move the parameter that you want to affect, and then go to your here. So you move the parameter you want to affect, you go to the little arrow at the top, and then go to browse parameters, and then over here it will highlight the parameter that you've just changed or you've just affected. So then you can right click, create automation, and then you can use it to same way. That's it for automation clips really. Another thing I could show you with regards to automation clips, say for example if you've two leads, and you want to, and you say you've applied a real fancy filter to it, to your leads, and you want to then, you've got a second lead, and you also want to apply the same filter to it. So you could draw it out by hand to make it identical, but the best thing to do so you want to match it, the best thing to do is to double click it, this little arrow here, into here, copy state, double click on this one, paste state, and it copies the exact same thing in for you. Okay, so that about sums up all the questions that I've managed to find in the comments. If you've any questions that you want to ask, or anything that I've missed out, or even anything that I've explained today, you want explained in more detail, just let me know, and I'll certainly look at it again for you. Thanks for watching.